Yep. Hey everyone, and welcome into, it's In the Booth with Earl Hall. We're going to be talking today about your voiceover setup, especially for you beginners. We're going to be talking about some things with scripting and getting your demo ready. All those great things that brand new voiceover artists actually need to make sure that they've got going on. And I've got some stuff for you as well. And how to find some clients too. I mean, is this not what it is that we need to be talking about today? I mean, especially for the brand new voiceover artist, right? When it comes down to that, there's so many things that we have to take into consideration. Even working as a full-time voice actor right now, so many things have to be taken into consideration for just all of this. More than I think many people actually know. When I think about, I made a YouTube video on yesterday, and I posted that about the day in the life of a full-time VO, which, is quite frankly, it's a lot to say. Hey, John, good morning from London. Thanks for being in here with us on today on In the Booth with Earl Hall. Just thinking from the perspective of what it is you have to do to get ready. I mean, I go in this booth here and things have to be like on point, on par, every step of the way. And I'm talking not just about the gear, which I think too many people put too much thought into, but the preparation of yourself and the things that are involved with being a full-time voice actor. It's a lot. When it comes down to taking care of your voice, when it comes down to even being in the booth, staying hydrated, because a lot of things that happen inside of the booth, we don't think about if we're not doing it for long periods of time. But if you're in the booth like I am, 7.5, 8 hours a day, literally in there, doing actual work, and the things that you have to be able to notice and detect. Now I'm talking about hydration because that comes down to mouth noise. Because if you're not hydrated, your mouth are going to make those clicks and it's going to, all that kind of stuff. And you cannot have that in professional VO. Then it comes down to the environment that you're in, the atmosphere, i.e. your recording space, which this is mine. That recording space, is it conducive to actual good VO? All soft surfaces, no hard flat surfaces around, so you're not getting that echo back into your mic, which is taking away from the audio quality that you really want to present. And then there's a whole thing of background noise. Now, okay, see, that was background noise. That was one of my hats falling. All right, so this is the back part of my bedroom that I'm in right now. We have a pretty large bedroom. So this is the back part of it. And I'm in a room, and then of course I'm inside of this recording space as well. But rain outside, like there was a thunderstorm earlier this week. I had to stop recording because that noise was infiltrating into my audio. I have people ask me questions all the time just in regards to, well, hey, I live in an apartment and there's all this noise and da. Like I can do something about the noise in your apartment or your home. I have 2 kids that still live here. Wife, she works during the day. The kids, one's in the Army, but she lives here because she's in the reserves. And then the other one is a senior in high school, starting back his senior year this year, next week. So they're here during the day. And so everyone knows that when I have my door closed, I'm in here recording. But no one, and when I say no one, fully understands the noise that and the sounds that these microphones pick up. No one gets that unless you're in VO. And then you have to be mindful of what you're hearing in your headsets to make sure that you're not hearing noise. And when you hear it, it's like, and let me give you this example. I sit here, I have a high back, there's armrest here, got the desk. Now, when I try and do voice over here, my elbow is going to hit. No, it's not. Can you hear that? Tell me if you can you hear that little tap of my elbow? I mean, even a click of my mouse. Can you hear that? That click of my mouse? It's like those things, these microphones just pick up. And when you're doing professional VO, all of these things you have to be cognizant of. You know what's really funny about all of this, though? Even the grumbling of my stomach. I have to make sure I have something in my stomach in the morning so that when I start, that noise, believe me, it gets picked up with these sensitive mics that we use in voiceover. Anybody else experience these types of things as well? Someone talk to me here. Nobody's talking to me, right? This is live. These are all things that matter if you're going to do professional VO. Now, I can think back to when I first started in professional VO or in VO. I wasn't a pro. Obviously, when you first start, you're not a pro. I was in a basement. No soft surfaces at all. Just a open room, maybe 10 by 8. I had bought this expensive gear. I had all the right stuff. But as you've heard me say over and over again, I don't care what kind of stuff you have, as far as I don't care how much your mic is. I don't care anything like that. Your audio interface, don't care how much you spent. If you're in the wrong environment, none of it matters. None of it. It doesn't matter. And I see people struggling over and over and over again, trying to, if they're not in the appropriate type of environment, struggling with, well, what kind of plugins can I use to take that sound out? What kind of plugins can I use to take the echo out? What kind of plugins can I use for this, all these things, and none of them work. Because you're trying to, were you here? I think the last live I did, or it was a video, and I talked about, it's like you have a glass of water and you urinate in the glass of water, and no amount of sugar you put in it is going to take out that urine that you just put in that water. It's the analogy I use for voiceover. You can't get that urine out. It's in there. I don't care what the plugin you use is. If we don't start with pristine audio, now, why am I saying all of these things? Because I'm not saying these things to discourage anyone at all. Hey, what's up, Ron? Glad to have you in the house. Thanks, man, for being here. This is not to discourage. This is to equip and inform. Because if you wonder why maybe you're not getting hired, or you're auditioning over and over all the time on different platforms, or even like Fiverr, Upwork, whatever. And so many times until we hear good audio, we don't know what good audio even sounds like. Because when I think back to when I first started, I thought I had all this great gear and, ooh, hey, I sound great. Had no literal concept of the echo that was inside of my audio. I really didn't know, because I hadn't been in long enough. I hadn't been trained on any of these types of things. But when you actually hear good audio, you start noticing the difference between what yours sound like and what someone else's sounds like. Now, yeah, we can talk about fully produced audio, right? With all the bells and whistles and the EQ and da-da-da-da and the compression. And we can talk about all that stuff. But what does your audio sound like pure with nothing added? because that's the telltale sign. Because if you're trying to get something that sounds amazing, because you've heard something that sounds amazing, what you normally don't hear is the beginning point, which actually does still sound pretty amazing. But it's just that level of understanding these types of things. It's one of the reasons. I mean, I've got a couple of links in the description for this live stream that we're doing right now. You've got access to some great stuff. I mean, I've got a beginner course, real cheap. You can grab it. I've got even what I call a VO demo script coach, some AI stuff that I've been working on for a long time that can really help with just starting and even advancing from where you are to get to the next level. Because everyone needs to understand how to create good VO, like audio quality wise. That's why I've got the beginner course. So you can get there. Like, you can get there right there with this beginner course. And then comes the demos, right? How are you going to come up with the demo script? And how are you going to... That's why right there as well, I've got the VO demo script coach. It is more than a VO script generator, if you want to call it that. It's actually a coach that will give you instruction on how to do certain types of VO. I don't care what the genre is, but you've got to check it out. We've just upgraded this whole thing for everyone as well. Because demo production, trying to put out a demo there, obviously you have to have the right gear. I'm going to talk about this in depth in just a moment. You've got to have the right gear, but you have to start with the right environment to record in. Be honest, how many of you have tried to do this without the proper environment? And you're trying to get all these little cheap things, like the little things that go around your mic and stuff. They don't work. They don't work. I mean, these little, you know what I'm talking about, the little curve things that go around. Your sound is still going up and down and around and outside of that, and those waves are still coming back in. In many cases, it's just not going to cut it. You know, so, and actually, I think, yeah, in the description for this too, I have, for anyone that needs it, you can get a pro voiceover setup for less than $800. I'm talking about an environment. I mean, my setup, mine, that I use every day now is less than $800. My setup as a pro VO. Now, this is what I want to go back to, because so many, when I think back to when I first started this whole thing, and you would see, I want comments too, if you see or saw these things too. I would see these amazing voiceover artists, voice actors, and they would have built out these, I mean, whole rooms, like $100,000 rooms to record. And this is going back to like 2012, 2013 for me. I'd be like, there's no way I can do it. They have all this gear and these buttons to press and these crazy $5,000 microphones and just all of this stuff that I'm like, I can't compete with that. There's no way I can compete with that. Let me just tell you, in the time that I've been in VO, which started back like 2012, 13, somewhere in there, and to have believed all of that, to actually make significant money in VO and believe all of that, let me just tell you, it's not true. I make very significant money with a setup that completely is less than $800. Now, you guys know, like, I have this. It's a Sennheiser MKH416, one of the most coveted mics in our industry, and it's sitting on my desk because I don't use it. Literally, it's sitting on my desk. Because what I have in my booth, now let me tell you something else. I'm going to tell you this too. I want everybody to stop the madness about you have to have an XLR mic, you know, with those connections. Dude, like $100, not even $100 USB microphone in an appropriate environment is going to get you where you need to be. And let me just tell you, in my booth right now, I have, where's my other mic? I have two. I do have an XLR mic that I use with my Focusrite. But what I've been using is a $75 USB microphone. That's what I've been using as a professional VO every day. We think that the more we spend on these things, the better. Now, okay, fine. If like having this is great, like having this Sennheiser microphone, it's amazing that I actually have it. But the requirements for what I need to do, and you have to think about this, the technology that is going into all of these things now, especially into the USB microphones, the technology that is there is literally amazing. When you start looking at the reviews and when you start looking at VOs, and so many times, I don't think people will tell you this. I don't think professional VOs will literally say this that I'm saying to you. Like they want to make it seem unattainable, but it is attainable through all of this. Now, we've talked about the home studio setup. We've talked about, demo production as far as, the vocal training and all of that. And a lot of that is needed, right? But what about finding clients? Anybody having trouble finding clients? Now, I'm going to tell you this. There are places to go. There are things to look at, and I'm talking beyond the Fivers of the world and the Upworks of the world, voices.com, voices123, all of those, right? They're pretty much staples in this industry, but they're, there's a lot of us there. There's a lot of us there. So what I've started doing is looking for places outside of those things, which has really been helpful for me over time. Doing things on and looking for things like on LinkedIn. What does your LinkedIn profile look like? Does anybody know you're a voice actor? Now, here's the thing. Who knows you're a voice actor? Who knows that you are a voice actor, a voiceover artist? If you're not posting on social media, if you're not making content on social media consistently so that people see who you are and what you do. Because if the only thing you're doing is putting up a profile, come on. If the only thing we're doing is putting up a profile on Fiverr and Upwork and wherever, who's actually seeing that? Except on occasion. And then how many people are hiring you from that? It's not enough. It's not enough. Find a social media platform that you can excel on. And yes, you're going to have to get on camera and you're going to have to get on your mic. You will have to do this because you're a voice actor. How many times a week, a day, a month are people hearing your voice and what it is that you have the ability to do? We have to be honest about these things because if we're not putting ourselves in the position to get opportunities, we're never going to be able to take advantage of anything. People have to know. And if you don't have eyes on you because of social media, you're missing the boat here. I'm telling you, you're missing the boat. It's not even a fact of caring about what you think about social media. It's the fact that social media is the way to get business. So we have to wrap our minds around that in order to move forward. We've got to do it. I talk about like this book, this green book right here, how to use your voiceover skills or how to build a business around your voiceover skills. I talk about it in this book. I talk about it in Steps to Voiceover Success book. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We have access to all these free tools, by the way, free, which is social media. We have access to all these free tools that we're not taking advantage of enough. And we have to flip this switch in our mind. Whatever that switch is and wherever that switch is off, we have to turn it on. That we have to be on social media showcasing what it is that we do and how it is that we do it. We've got to. And we need to over time master a platform where this starts working for us. And the longer you put this off, the longer you're going to pay for it. The longer you put this off, the longer you will not have what you want to have. Because social media is how business is done now. Period. It's done this way. So maybe even in the comments, as you're watching this video, whether you're watching live or, watching the replay, ask me questions. Put your comments in there, right? I'm going to read a question that came in to me actually early this morning. And I'm going to pull it up because it was actually a very good question. And this was on my YouTube channel. It came in 10 hours ago, right? So it's 10:22 a.m. here on Friday, August 2nd. All right. Good afternoon, Earl. I was curious, since you are a seasoned pro, as to how your rates are structured. Do you charge by word or by project based on a time estimate? Also, do you ever struggle on a single long sentence to the point where you have to splice together two of your best reads on different parts of that problematic sentence? Or do you just keep doing a reread of that sentence until you get it right all the way through, even if it takes all night? Sorry for the seemingly silly question. One, it's not a silly question. It's an honest one. Let me take each part on its own. How your rates are structured. My rates are structured according to what I believe I'm worth. Period. Now, I know there's rate guides and rate charts and all that other kind of stuff out there or whatever. But here's a hint. If a lot of people are getting your work or basically whatever, you're saying yes all the time, you're charging too little. If no one is buying it and you're good, this is a fact of being good first. If no one's buying it, your prices are too high. So that's kind of a benchmark. I know, and you can check out the rate guides. They're all good and all fine. And they come out from SAG-AFTRA? SAG-AFTRA, is that how you say it? The union. Fine. If you want to go by that, go by that. Or come up with your own. So, and as far as word by word goes, that's more of if I charge word by word, that's more of a Fiverr thing that you can do. Like you can have I'll do 100 words for $50 or whatever, 100 words for $10. So that's a benchmark that can be used. It's in many cases, it's not an or, it's an and. You can do all of this way, right? So now the next one, talking about the long sentence and if it's split out and all of that, that really comes down to our own individual talents to be able to do that. If something is just a run-on sentence, but maybe you're flubbing at the beginning, flubbing in the middle, flubbing at the end. So then, it's legitimate. You can splice stuff together. We have that ability inside of our JWs to do that. But a lot of it just comes with experience and workflow and how you opt to do it. I don't think there's a wrong way. I don't think there's a wrong way for this. It's just, okay, what fits your workflow in order to get these things done, right? That's kind of how I feel about it. So I want to think that question literally came in this morning on the YouTube channel here. I want to thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen, for being here with me today on In the Booth with Earl Hall. Leave me some questions or comments, and believe me, I'll answer them. And because I want to help, and I want you to know the steps to voiceover success, they are possible. And just remember to grind and don't quit. I'll see you on the next episode. You guys have a great day.